All right, everybody. Let's get this shit show over with, shall we? Our second season with our two teams. This is going to be a rough year. It's going to be a very rough year. Again, a reminder of what the Rockies are looking like this season. Walker Buehler, Cal Quantrill, German Marquez, Austin Cox, Peter Lambert as your starting five. The bullpen, shout out to KRK for the follow, by the way. The bullpen, as you can see, not the highest ratings there either. But your team looks a hell of a lot better than mine. We'll get to mine in a second. Again, a reminder of what the lineup here looks like, too. Brendan Rodgers, Charlie Blackmon, Nolan Jones, Ryan McMahon, Chris Bryant, Elehuris Montero, Ezequiel Tovar, Brandon Doyle, and Willie McIver. What a team. What a team. And again, for those that just missed it, we did allow chat to rename their new prospects. So say hello to Jesus Wept, Orangello, Mesut Ozil, Waluigi, and your number one or first round pick from last year, Tug McGroin. And not to mention reliever John Dowd, the legend. I feel like there was somebody that we missed, but it's okay. Now the White Sox. This is going to be my rotation for season 2. Kai Bush, Nick Nastrini, Jake Adair, Sean Burke, and Jared Schuster. The bullpen, as you can see, is not much better. I am going full tank mode. Full tank mode is the plan this year, especially with this lineup of Dominic Fletcher, Brooks Baldwin, Luis Robert Jr., Eloy Jimenez, Gavin Sheets, Yohan Moncada, Max Stassi, Colson Montgomery, and 38 overall first baseman Agustin Castellano. I'm tanking like a son of a bitch. I am tanking like a son of a bitch. It's beautiful. But I think we're going to be just about ready for the season. The only thing to do will be to update both of our trade blocks. And let's be honest, we're both still going to have the same approach, right? And Diamond, what's happening, by the way? Again, lowest ranked positions is what I'm allowed to add to the board. And I'm willing to trade anybody. Absolutely anybody. Should the offer be right, anybody that has any sort of value, I'll at least listen to a deal for. For you guys, in terms of the trade block this year, it'll be the same thing. Again, whatever you are ranked the worst at, the top 5 will be the positions that you say, hey, you can look for. And honestly, confuse viewers by wearing the Easter Loan jersey. I actually don't know where the Easter Loan jersey is right now. So, Cody, I will have to find it at a different time. I will adhere to your request at the start of tomorrow's stream. I promise. Honestly, just going to have you guys do the same strategy. It doesn't mean that you're going to trade Nolan Jones or anything like that, but you might as well just put whatever options are up there and just see what offers you get. Even if you don't end up taking the majority of them, it's still the right move to make. And a big shout out to One Raptors GC in chat. What's going on, my man? Like what you did, by the way, with the event that you shared on Discord. MLB, I mean, from an offline perspective, it's still pretty good. I haven't done too much online yet, but I haven't heard too many complaints about... I really haven't heard too many complaints about Diamond Dynasty either. It just seems to be a really solid game, even if it's not like a crazy amount of improvements. It just feels like they made a lot of really good tweaks and changes. The fact it's available on Game Pass in a few days for just the cost of Game Pass as well, crazy deal. Absolutely crazy deal. So definitely worth checking out at the very least. Am I forgetting anything? I don't think I am. So we are going to sim to the start of the regular season. And the last thing I wanted to look at, stadium assignments, by the way. Stadium assignments. Can I move the Athletics away from Oakland Coliseum? Is there just a... Can I make them the Oakland Athletics of Las Vegas? I mean, if I download a created stadium, I'm sure I could. Obviously, these are the almost done park. It's amazing how topical that is for them. That's perfect. We'll keep them in Oakland. We'll keep them in Oakland for now. You know, try to let the Athletics have something nice for once, even though they're never going to have anything nice. I wanted to look at the top prospects. So number one prospect in baseball is still Jackson Holliday. The guy that I took in the first round last year, Andres Olivo, debuts at number 9. His ETA is 2026, but that is still pretty good. And of course, there is also my shortstop, Colson Montgomery, who is in the majors this year. Could argue a smidge early. Rocky's top prospect, because I didn't miss anybody, is number 20, Adael Amador, the shortstop. This is number 20.
Walk through this fucking grass.
And I can't believe you weren't already following on that particular account. Thank you for the follow. We need to get some pro clubs in there soon. Yanquiel Fernandez, also up there for the Rockies. Your Rockies. Got Chase Dollander as well. Mesut Ozil debuts at 45. So you guys definitely have some good prospects in the top 50. You have more prospects overall in the top 50. I have the higher rated of the prospects, though. And again, if we look at the Rockies' top prospects, not ideal to see the guy that you just took third overall debut at number 7 within the organization's ranks. It's not ideal. But again, you do still have some good pieces to build around moving forward. And if we take a look at the White Sox, the guy that I drafted ended up going straight to number 1 on my list. Again, I'm not going to rename my new players, but it's not too bad at all. Top 20 by position, Hurston Waldrop is the top starting pitching prospect. Olivo is already 3rd on that list. Chase Dollander is 10th. Mesut Ozil 16th. Top relievers, Drew Thomas for Oakland. Top closer, Rory Serrano for the Dodgers. Neither of us have anybody in the mix in that position either. Top catching prospect is Ethan Salas on the Padres. Edgar Quiero's there for me, though. That's not too bad. So I got the 4th best catching prospect in baseball. That's not too bad. First base, Xavier Isaac is still number 1. Doug May, who was a part of that last draft, debuts at 2. Top second base prospect, Tamar Johnson. I have Jacob Gonzalez on that list as well. Number 4 for second baseman. And Seth Rollins in his indie days. Third base, James McDonald is the top prospect. You guys have Sterling Thompson at 5, Doug McGroin at 9, and Warming Bernabel at 13th. Where's Kaiser from Minnesota? Well, given he was a complete bust, I don't think we're going to see him. We both have a shortstop in the top 5 amongst shortstop prospects. Jackson Holliday, of course, number 1. Left field, you guys have Yanquiel Fernandez up there. Augustin Cardona at 12 for me. Center field, Samuel Zavala at 12 for me. Neither of us have a crazy good center field prospect. Drew Jones, number 1. And then on the right, you have Zach Veen and Jordan Beck. Not bad. So, again, we do already have players to look to build around. This is going to be a very, very bad season for me. The biggest question is going to be in regards to scouting. And I think I am going to put it on manual this year. We're going to be a little bit more hands-on. I'm going to see how long it takes and if it really adds to the process. Let's see. As I get a trade offer from the Blue Jays, they want starting pitcher Grant Taylor for the veteran Chris Bassett. Hey, give us one of your better young pitching prospects for an old veteran. I don't think I will. All right, what is the first day that we're going to be allowed to handle scouting? What is that first day? Please allow me to handle scouting. Please. I could have sworn it unlocked on Sundays. There we go. All right. So, let's take a look at Chat's team here to start. And in terms of the rankings, now the text is incredibly fucking difficult to read. Like, incredibly difficult to read. But if we zoom in, you can see what the current rankings are for the Rockies. Catcher is something that you're dead last in currently. Oh, the font's horrific, especially for this screen. The next lowest relief pitchers, and which are 29th. Big shout out to Day, by the way, for the 22 months. Thank you very much for that. Day, how goes it? Just missed turning the alert back on. Sorry. And from there, I mean, starting pitching, left field, first base, all 27th. So we won't do anything for a focus yet. And again, it's impossible to scout everything, right? You do have to make choices. So as we take a look at this, in terms of what to scout, because obviously you can scout specific prospects. You also want to discover prospects before looking. And then, of course, scout specific options. Well, scouting positions, just look at everybody in that list. So we want to handle discovery for the first little bit here. We do have to make a decision. And in terms of what you guys want to focus on here, again, it was dead last at catcher, 29th for relievers. So from there, I'm going to put up a poll for you guys here to decide what else do you want to focus on. You are 27th ranked for left field, for starting pitching, and for first baseman. Which one of the three do you want to prioritize for this draft initially? We will try to do as much as we can scouting-wise, but initially, which one of those three positions? Yes, you need a lot. We both do, but you do have to make a choice. What do you want to look to prioritize here out of those three positions? And it's going to come down to either starter or first base. Again, you're ranked 27th for both of them. We'll see what you guys want to prioritize, and then see if we have time to go back and look at first base. And it looks like starting pitching is going to win. So starting pitching, relief pitching, and a good catcher will be the focus. Catcher is going to be listed as top priority here. As we'll go catcher in the West. Discover new prospects. Good thing is pitching you can do in one shot. And actually, because you can do pitching in one shot, we'll still be able to do first base. Actually, I mean, I guess you'll be able to do infield. Well, this actually works out kind of well then. We'll just do general discovery then for everything. So you got pitchers, you got the catchers. We'll do the infield in the West as well. And try to find those extra players. So that'll be the setup for the Rockies. For the White Sox, dead last in terms of starting pitching, relief pitching, first base, and second base. I'm going to prioritize first base over second. Yikes. Yikes. So I'll do the same thing. Pitcher. I mean, catchers I don't really need, so I'm actually not going to worry about that. We'll go for the infield. And I'll try to discover some outfielders as well. That'll be the plan there. Ambient Colorado sports fan. What's going on? How goes it? How goes it? As I get a trade offer from the Marlins, Colson Montgomery for Braxton Garrett. The AI are absolutely trying to rob me in the interim here. As you guys did discover 4 new players there. Can you fire scouts and hire new ones? We already have. We have optimized scouting for both teams. All right, so catcher for the West. Let's go catcher central. Pitcher central. And infield central as well. Like I said, this is going to be the first little bit of the season where we both have to rely on discovery. So pitcher central, infield central, and outfield central. Would you mind showing me or explaining quick how to hire and fire scouts? No problem. So you want to go up to the middle option here. Staff contracts, scouts. Now you'll have the remaining scouting budget. So what you have to do is pay attention to the salary in the top right-hand corner that they're already being paid. And then obviously the math works out to where I could only hire a scout that makes a maximum of about $98,000 to replace Gage Blankenship. You have to balance out that budget amongst 3 scouts as best you can, or you can bring in one really, really good scout and have 2 bad scouts. I mean, some strategy to it, but it is a pretty simple system. So yeah, we were good for this week's worth of scouting. How the hell have I won 8 games? This chat's team gets an offer from the Guardians. Zach Veen for Kyle Manzardo. Manzardo is a year older with an A potential and 2 overall points better. Really? So Zach Veen, 23 years old, 70 overall, B potential. Has a 618 OPS in AAA so far through 64 at bats. Do you have a first base? You don't have a first base prospect at all. But in right field, you do have Jordan Beck down here. But you also have Nolan Jones in that position. Again, Manzardo, he's a little bit older, but he is a 72. Playing with Cleveland both this year and last year. He hasn't really turned the corner on his hitting game, but anybody going to disagree with it? I mean, that fills a position of need for you guys and could help you look at other options coming up into the draft. So, any disagreement? Zach Veen for Kyle Manzardo. Just how you doing franchise? Love to be able to do franchise. Well, Ambient, I'm glad you've enjoyed your stay. We love ourselves some franchise around here. All right, I don't see anybody disagreeing with it. Zach Veen off to Cleveland for first baseman Kyle Manzardo. That is a good little deal for you guys. Somehow you have a worse record than I do. That is insane. So yeah, Manzardo's on the major league roster right now, which is okay. Yeah, honestly, I mean, you could play him in AAA for the year, but Tyler, what's going on? Came to say hi for the first time in a while. Been real busy. Fair enough. It's good to see you, Tyler. Hope you've been good. Warrior as well. Hello, everybody that's just jumping in. We had a late start tonight. But, all right, let's see. Okay, you guys are discovering new prospects. Let's find an East catcher, East pitchers, and East infield options. Again, it's week 3 of 14. Plenty of time for discovery. And then we adjust from there. Okay, let's keep that going. Sim another week. I don't know how the hell I have the record that I do. 10-18 for a team this bad is not a good look for this sim engine right now. All right, let's get the international looks in there. And sim another week. I get a trade off from the Blue Jays. Kai Bush for Lamont Wade Jr. I mean, it would get me an actual first baseman for the year. How good's Kai Bush doing? I mean, he's... yeah, he's been pretty good, actually. I mean, at least Lamont Wade, like I said, I'd actually have a first baseman. I am going to take this trade, I think. We'll give Kai Bush a chance to have success somewhere else. So, no problem accepting that deal. All right, let's see. So, now for you guys, what we can focus on, we can switch bronze over to scouting out outfielders for the next 2 weeks, but now we can start to actually look at certain players. So again, positional needs, pitching and a catcher is the goal. So let's go ahead, cancel those out. I can't even move that to bronze. So scout prospect for Jackie Caps. Again, pitcher and a catcher. So in terms of catchers, I mean, obviously it'll be a look at guys that might have a super high-end ceiling. And actually, it is still going to be worth it. It is still going to be worth it to do scout position. But then again, yeah, you can only do West. Based on the math and how long it'll take to scout somebody. Because obviously for catchers, there's a lot of the 65 to 99s. It does still make sense, I'd say, based on the time. Scout position, catchers West. And then scout positions, catcher Central. And new prospects can be moved back to bronze. So there we go. That'll be the approach for you guys for this week, is you actually try to find a catcher, given that you don't have one. Clout Roshi, good to see you as well. We're doing good. We're doing well. All right, and for me, again, I wasn't going to look at any catchers whatsoever. So based off of what I need, pitchers and a first baseman. So let's do scout position, first base West, scout position, first base Central, and scout position, first base East. I'll focus on pitchers after that. See, I got a trade offer from Baltimore. It's catcher Max Stassi for Ryan O'Hearn, who is currently injured. So, no. That made it pretty easy for me. Damn. All right, let's see. So for me, I now want to do first base international and then go to starting pitcher West and starting pitcher Central. For chat, it'll be outfield Central. And we'll finish getting the basic look at catchers. And again, it'll leave the final few weeks to specifically target the top end guys to see if they are actually that good. But right now, it's a matter of trying to just get the most amount of info that you can to work with. So for Chad, again, in the outfield, look in the East. So you have fully scouted out catchers. Then you had starting pitchers and relievers. So starting pitcher West. Starting pitcher West and starting pitcher Central. Easy enough. Big shout out to Nick Roberts, 35 months. Nick, I hope you've been well. Thank you very much for supporting my face. How goes it? See, East. Starting pitcher international. And then I need reliever West. As we continue to try to find Players we got the biggest needs for. You guys get a trade offer from the Rangers. Left fielder Sean Bouchard for catcher Sam Huff. I mean, Bouchard's a decent enough filler player. The big question is, do you need a catcher? I mean, yeah. Right now, I mean, you're rolling with Willie McIver because Drew Romo is still in the minors. You get rid of Bouchard. Means Charlie Blackmon would play a little bit more this season. You almost have Fernandez good to go for next year. I mean, I think you could justify that trade. I would probably take it if I were you. Because you could use Sam Huff in tandem with Drew Romo for years to come. A lot of chat saying no, though. Looks like it's going to go to a vote. Looks like it's going to go to a vote. Do you guys take this trade? Yes or no? Vote is live. If it doesn't show up for you in chat, make sure to just refresh the stream really quickly. I got to meet the infamous Crash Andrews. I sure did. I sure did. Regrettably. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Crash, he's a beautiful man. A beautiful man. Like I said, I think you could justify this trade. Bouchard's replacement is already as good as him. It's just you're waiting another year before you unleash him. And then Sam Huff could stop you from needing to draft or needing to sign a free agent. Crash did not get COVID like I did. He avoided it. So I would think based off of that logic, you could almost indicate that I probably got it on my flight home from Philadelphia. But who the fuck knows, man? Chat's going to take the trade. I think that's a good deal, too. Sean Bouchard for Sam Huff. The deal is done. Like I said, I think that was a good trade for you guys. Not a bad one, at least. All right. For the White Sox, I got to finish scouting out relievers, and then I'm going to start looking at specific players. So that is the game plan there. That'll leave 5 weeks for me to look at specific players. And for the Rockies, it was finalize outfielders and finish looking at starting pitching. There we go. There we go. Why'd you guys sign Bueller? I don't know. You elected to re-sign him, though. Cody, I saw. I don't know. I don't know if there's an exhibition game going on. Probably is. Let's see. You guys get a trade off from the Braves. Well, speaking of Walker Bueller, you could trade him for Chris Sale for no reason. I'm going to go ahead and decline that for you guys because that deal would make no sense whatsoever. All right. Let's see. So for you guys, you do still need to look at relievers really quickly. But at least you found those extra outfielders. So the last thing to do is look at relievers. All right, so you are almost where you want to be in terms of a good general knowledge for positions you need the most help in. For myself, I did get better at first base after that trade, but I do still need a first baseman. All right, so for me, I get to start looking at specific prospects now. First baseman. Is there anybody that looks awesome? Hello, Bernardo Lopez. Definitely want as much information on you as possible. Is there anybody else who looks like he could be sick? Lewis Hicks. That overall rating is going to be tragic. He's not worth looking at, unfortunately. That guy's overall, dude, for range of 14 to 45. That is insane. Was there a Pablo Sanchez that I missed? All right, first base. Not the strongest position this year. I do need to look at Brian Boyer because that overall could be decent. And then, yeah, there is a Pablo Sanchez. There you go. It would be nice to get more information on Pablo as well. So I'm going to continue down that path. So let's keep it going here, leading into the draft. How did I just win that many games in a row? Jesus. All right, so for you guys, the last thing to do here is to look at relievers from the international region. But now, catcher and then starting pitching and relief pitching. So let's take a look at the catchers that your scouts have found and see if there's anybody worth looking at. Obviously, Del Harrell will be worth looking at. And Daniel McVeigh as well will be worth looking at those two for the first week. That'll be the game plan. I get a trade offer from the Twins. Reliever Joe Barlow for reliever Justin Topa. That's going to be an absolute no. Absolute no. All right, let's see. So for chats. Okay. Okay. 44 prospects scouted. Jesus Christ. In terms of relievers. So let's see. We'll continue to look at catchers. It was identified as your biggest need. I think it is worth continuing to look at Harrell and McVeigh. I mean, that's good info now, but those overall ranges are crazy. It'd be nice for you guys to kind of shrink those down a little bit more. Obviously, you still have starters to look at. It's week 11 of 14. Are there any other catchers that look like they could be steals? 60 to a 92 for Blake Thomas. 67-98 Antoine Smith. I mean, Vaughn. Honestly, Harrell, McVeigh, and Vaughn are two guys to look at. There is a chance you could know, like, your guy at catcher if one of these guys are as good as advertised. That is probably the best way to go about it. And then look at starters and relievers coming up, too. That's not a bad way to go about it. For myself, okay, none of the first basemen are exactly what I was hoping for. I mean, Oscar Ramirez, I got to take a further look at that guy. I got to keep looking at first baseman as well. I was hoping not have to do that, but we'll look at Rodriguez. We'll look at Byron Flynn as well. Let's see. Rockies get a trade offer for 33-year-old Michael Lorenzen. I can tell you right now that's not worth it for you. You're getting down to the nitty-gritty here for scouting. Just 3 weeks left. For my White Sox, well, this was not the year to need a first baseman as a top priority, which is what I need. But this, this isn't great. This is not the year to need a first baseman. I guess I'll look at Sean Morgan, just because he could be a 77 at the high end. I need to start looking at starters and relievers here, which are my other big positions of need. So I'll look at Richard Sosa and Orlando Cortez just to get more info. Rough going for the White Sox. Let's see if it's any better for you guys. In terms of catchers, Del Harrell could be the guy. Damian Vaughn might not be that bad either. So you do have a good general idea. If you were to go for catcher, Again, your biggest position of need for a position player as opposed to a pitcher, you at least have a good idea. You could look at Victor Marine. Victor Marine, Gustavo Avalos. There are a couple of other catchers that aren't that bad. Now, the big thing is, of course, whether or not our scouts agree or disagree on certain starters. What do you guys think? Do you want to look at another batch of catchers, or are you pretty content to move on to different starting options? Again, you got a couple of guys who could be at a 70 in terms of overall if they were towards the high end. All right, people are calling for starters. Again, we're going to have to scout the same pitchers at the high end because our scouts could disagree. So we can't exactly copy each other's homework. So there you go. Those will be the 3 to focus on there. And again, for me, already good to go. Sim another week. Again, we'll look at mid-season stats once we get to the All-Star break just before the draft. I have to cut somebody off the MLB roster. Send down Bobby McGrath, I guess. At least I think that was what the problem was. Did I? Oh, it was the Rockies. That makes sense. I saw the thing in the corner. It's like, I don't have to send anybody down. No reason for you guys not to just send down Alvin Knight. All right. Let's see. William Contreras dealt to the Reds for one Jason Dominguez and Luis Gil. Okay. Reds adding before the trade deadline that's coming up, not all that long from now. All right, so for the Rockies, you pretty much know it's a B potential for Sosa. Decent overall, though. One more week worth of starters, and then probably got to look at the top relievers. So in terms of said starters, you could get more info on Branham, but I mean, it's worth taking a look at these next 3 guys that are all projected to be first-round picks. So William Loftus, Joe Motion of the Ocean, and Joey Webster. And for me, Jesus Christ. Again, not a great year to need a first baseman. Not a great year. I'm also, again, going to have to look at guys like Kenny Branham, Will Loftus, just in case our scouts disagree on how good somebody is, and they seem to. I got to take a look at a lot of similar players. So let's see. We'll have 1 week after this. I get a trade offer from the Phillies. Joe Barlow for Sir Anthony Dominguez. No. It's going to be a no from me. All right, the final week of scouting. Final week for the White Sox. Again, I need relievers. Let's take a look at the guys that are projected pretty far up there. William Roher. We got a lot of guys who are projected way the hell up there. Luca Green's projected to go 12th. And Jerome Charles projected to go 15th. So those outfield look like you guys don't really have a chance or time. Again, we're having to do scouting this way for a reason. Otherwise, there's just not enough time. There just isn't. You could argue whether or not Discovery is worth it or not, but it often is. Yeah, this is pretty much how we're going to have to handle scouting on manual, unless we want to go back to automatic. Your scouts love this guy, Nate Haney. You might as well look at him. He's not projected to be drafted. Your scouts have him at 10. So your scouts found someone that mine did not. R.D. Shelley as well, another guy that your scouts found that they kind of love, but look at Nick Worth. Could. I mean, he is 18, but again, you do need to at least look at a couple of these top relievers as well, given it's one of your biggest positions of need. It's worth looking at Rower, and it's worth looking at Luka Green as well. Again, like I said, we pretty much have to set up scouting so that we're focusing on our biggest needs and having the most information available with those needs. Pretty much how we have to do it. The draft is in 6 days. Let's take a look around the league here. So the White Sox at 30 and 59. How the hell have I won 30 games this year? In the AL, I am the worst team in the AL, at least. Thank God for that. For you guys, 34 and 56. We are the 2 worst teams in baseball. So that's good. I still don't know how either of our teams have won 30 games this year. In terms of a rotation, for me, Nastrini, Jake Adair has an 8.05 ERA. I don't have a single pitcher with a sub-4 ERA. The lowest ERA on the team is a 4.57 from Jared Schuster. That is impressive. That is impressive. For my lineup, Fletcher batting 244. 221 for Colson. At least he moved up in the unbelievable, but I've actually gotten pretty good options at the plate this year. Am dying. Whew, but remember, kids, COVID, it's just the flu. As if the flu doesn't fucking suck. Jesus.